The line at the airport security checkpoint stretched like a coiled snake, restless and simmering with impatience. Amara Kane, a woman whose presence commanded quiet respect, stood poised, her eyes fixed on the horizon beyond the chaos, when the TSA agent's voice sliced through the air like a blade. "You, step out. Random check." His tone wasn't random, it dripped with something darker, something Amara had heard too many times before. Her heart thudded, not from fear, but from the familiar weight of being seen as less before she could prove she was more. The agent, a man with a buzz cut and a badge that gleamed under the fluorescent lights, gestured her toward the screening area with a flick of his wrist. Amara, in her tailored navy suit, her braided hair swept neatly into a bun, complied without a word. She knew the drill. She knew the looks, those subtle, cutting glances that lingered too long on her skin. The crowd parted, some staring, others pretending not to see. A murmur rippled through the line, a mix of annoyance and curiosity. Why her? Why always someone like her? As Amara stepped into the screening zone, the agent's gloved hands moved with mechanical precision, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of disdain. "Arms out," he barked, louder than necessary. She raised her arms, her gaze steady, locking onto his. She wasn't just another traveler, she carried a quiet strength, forged through years of navigating spaces that questioned her worth. Her briefcase, sleek and unassuming, sat on the conveyor belt, its contents a mystery to the agent but a lifeline to her purpose. The pat-down was invasive, each motion deliberate, as if he were searching for more than contraband. Amara's jaw tightened, but she held her silence. She thought of her grandmother's words. "They'll try to break you, but you stand taller." The agent's radio crackled, and a voice interrupted, urgent and clipped. "Hold on. Check the manifest again." His brow furrowed, but he continued, rummaging through her bag with exaggerated care, pulling out a leather-bound notebook, a pen, a phone. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yet his suspicion lingered, thick as the air around them. The crowd grew restless, their whispers a low hum. A woman behind Amara muttered, "This is ridiculous." A man in a suit checked his watch, impatient. The agent's partner, a younger woman with a nervous glance, approached. "Sir, you need to see this." She handed him a tablet, her voice low but insistent. The agent's eyes scanned the screen, and his face froze. His hands, moments ago so sure, faltered. He looked up at Amara, then back at the tablet, as if the world had shifted beneath him. "Ma'am," he stammered, his voice stripped of its earlier edge. "You're Dr. Amara Kane?" The crowd hushed, the air thick with anticipation. Amara nodded, her expression unyielding. "Yes. Is there a problem?" The agent's face flushed red, his authority crumbling like dry sand. The tablet displayed her name in bold. Dr. Amara Kane, renowned epidemiologist, keynote speaker at the Global Health Summit, and a VIP cleared for expedited screening. The irony stung, targeted her, assuming she was just another face in the crowd, only to discover she was a figure of international acclaim. The agent mumbled an apology, his words tripping over themselves. "I didn't know standard procedure." Amara's eyes softened, but her voice was steel. Procedure shouldn't mean prejudice. The crowd was silent now, the weight of her words sinking in. She gathered her belongings, her movements deliberate, and walked toward the gate, her head high. The agent stood frozen, the tablet still in his hand, as his partner avoided his gaze. Amara's heart still raced, not from the confrontation, but from the deeper truth it exposed. She'd faced this before: classrooms where professors doubted her intellect, boardrooms where her ideas were dismissed until a lighter face echoed them. Yet she'd risen, not by fighting every battle, but by proving her worth in ways they couldn't ignore. Today was no different. As she boarded her flight, she thought of the summit, where her research could save lives. That was her victory, not the agent's fleeting shame. The plane hummed to life, and Amara stared out the window, the city shrinking below. She wasn't naive, she knew change was slow, that hearts like that agent's didn't shift in a moment. But she also knew the power of moments like this, when truth broke through like sunlight through clouds. Her VIP status hadn't shielded her from bias, but had forced the world to see her. And maybe, just maybe, that glimpse would linger in the minds of those who'd watched, a crack in the walls of their assumptions. As the plane climbed, Amara opened her notebook, her pen gliding across the page. She wrote not of anger, but of resolve. She wrote for the next black woman in line, for the child watching, for the world that could be better. Her work, her presence, her unyielding dignity, these were her weapons. And they were enough. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.